All right, we are live on both platforms. Sorry it took me a minute. My camera decided that it was going to fall, so I had to reset everything up. And it's still not in the spot that I had it in. So it's going to drive me bonkers. But yeah, we're going to wait for a minute and then we'll get the show on the road. How about that, guys? Hi, thank you for joining. In my caption, if you guys seen the Tonight Show, is about the Brookdale Lodge and the Lizzie Borden House. Two of my favorite locations. I love those two locations. I've done a lot of research on both of those locations actually, and I just have not done them yet here on Haunted Memoirs. So we'll get the show on the road in a minute. Also, a huge shout out to my friend Kat. Because without her, some of the research would have not been done like I wanted it to. So huge shout out to her. I love you, Kat. Thank you so much for your help with this. Um, so let's just get into the announcements. Actually, I need to fix my banner taking across the. Oh, why did I just delete that? Oh my gosh. While I'm doing this, I will just go into it. Sorry, guys. I accidentally deleted my banner, which was not meant to happen. Anyway, so has anybody heard of the Lizzie Borden house? Pretty sure y'all have. It's a well known location across the United States. So, um, like I said, a good friend of mine, Kat, she's also a neighbor, went and uh, read the book that I have, and I mean this thing is massive. It's huge, and she came up with some very good notes. So she will be awesome, awesome, awesome. It's amazing. I love it. Um, so it was the rival style. Well, it was built in a Greek rival style, and it was built in 1845. Now when I just had like a total like brain fog moment. Um, Andrew, Lizzie's father, had bought the house in 1872 with his wife Abby, which is the stepmom, and Lizzie and Emma. Now, we all know the famous axe murders. For some reason or another, We all heard the rumors, but it's also speculated that Lizzie was mad at Abby for sending Emma away. That's why she unalived them. Um, so when after he bought the home, it was actually two different apartments, and he converted it all into one house. Refused to not have indoor plumbing or electricity. As the time went on, um, so they still lived like with the chamber pots under the bed and uh, two stall privy. I'm reading that right. And they had their maid that lived in the attic, and it was owned by Martha and Ronald, who inherited the house from Martha's grandparents, who bought the house in 1948. Well, in 1918, after everything that happened with Lizzie and she was acquitted of all the charges, they could no longer live in the house, so they sold it, and it was a bed and breakfast as of 1996. And so, um, we all know about the unaliving of Abby and Andrew. And then Daniel Woods and Lee Ann Walter bought the house in 2004. Now it still has all the original. Hello. So it still has all the original woodworking and everything in it. But the stove has been replaced because it posed risk to visitors. Now, if we get on with down to like Lizzie's upbringing, we all know about Emma, and it's been mentioned slightly in the movie with Christina. I cannot pronounce her name to save the life of me, but they had a sister before 2 years before um Lizzie was born. Hmm. Anyway, sorry. Uh, their mom Sarah died at the age of 39 on March in 1863, and Lizzie was 2 at the time of her death, and then Emma was 12. Lizzie was 5 and Emma was 14 when Andrew married Abby. Emma was sent to the Wheaton Female Seminary in northern Massachusetts on April of 1867. So it's said that Lizzie was mad at Abby for sending her away. That's when all the stuff happened. And it's believed that it was traumatic for her to be alone in the house with Abby and Andrew and not have her older sister around. She, began school at the age of 5, like everybody else in this whole world sometimes, and then had abandonment issues due to her mother's death, which I did not know about that. Was reserved but sensitive, described as a great conversationalist, had self confidence issues, was a bookworm, and often felt overlooked by peers. And then on April 25th, in 1980, a letter by Mrs. William Davis Jr. to her daughter 2 months after the trip to Europe with the church group, church group for a good tour of Europe, June 1980, referred to Lizzie as a woman I do not know. This summed up Lizzie's place in society and was unhappy that she was unhappy at home. Hated her stepmother, and she was prone to fits of rage. Now, it is said that the maid that was also unalived was scared of Lizzie. And then these are possible reasons why she unalived her dad and stepmom. Lizzie had a pigeon coop. Her father killed the birds, saying the birds were a business and not pets. Rumor is it that Lizzie had all hid all the hatchets. Fits of anger, possible abuse, hatred towards the stepmother, and she was also. I remember Kat saying something the other night when I picked up the files from her that Lizzie was also mad because it was said that Andrew was going to put the name, like the deed, in her stepmother's name and not to Lizzie and Emma. So now onto the haunting aspect of the house. There are, footsteps by Andrew Borden's room. Uh, there has been said there's been handprints set on the bed in the Andrew Jennings room. Voices, male, female children, maybe children who were murdered next door, which I didn't know that. A black shadow people, usually a man, maybe Andrew, like a black shadow people see. The lights are going off and on, and then feeling of sadness. So, your typical stuff, and that was really good stuff. I really appreciate her doing that. I mean, there's so much more to the Lizzie Borden house that probably no one will ever know. You know, did she really do it? Did she not do it? Who knows? Who knows? No one's gonna know for sure. Never. No one ever knows for sure when going into these haunted locations and trying to get the information. Asking questions and everything. The day that she went and I remember at the end of the movie that she had whispered something in her sister's ear. Now it said that she admitted to her sister Emma that she did in fact unalive Andrew and Abby. But nobody's going to really know exactly what was actually said. Only Emma and Abby know what was said. And then now on to the Brookdale Lodge. It's located in California. Oh, and then also the Lizzie Borden house is located, for people that don't know, which is pretty famous, so it's really well known. I have it in here. Give me one second to find it. Fall River. That's really weird. So in 2021, the house was listed for sale, and then there has been. I don't know. I can't find it, but that's okay. Fall Rivers. That's all I know. Fall River, Massachusetts. That's where the house was. I knew it was Massachusetts. Now on to the Brookdale Lodge, which is located in California. I do know that one right off the top of my head. Um, so Brookdale Lodge, there was quite a few different things known about the Brookdale Lodge, but the one thing that's most famous for is how it is said that a little girl had fallen to her high had unalived in the creek. So they built the Brookdale Lodge over this creek, and it's said to this day that you can see the little girl spirit. Um, you know how it began in 1980s. The property was owned by the Gover family, who had a Victorian vacation home in the land known as the C.F. Grover Cottage, or the man. I cannot say that word. Hi, baby. I am trying to find out where it is at, where it says. You get kicked if I say SM. Huh? I have no idea what you're talking about. There's an urban myth and reports of the paranormal. It opens. Where in the world did it go? I am so disorganized. I have no idea what you're talking about, sweetheart. So it was built in 1890, and it was famed boardroom dining room with a creek running, right through it. It was added in the early 1920s. It was featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not, that brought the ledge worldwide fame, and it has played host to a number of notable guests, including Marilyn Monroe and the President Hoover. In 1940s and 50s, ushered in a period where gangsters and other shady characters hung out at the lodge. So, and it also is said, there is like a swimming pool in the area. Okay, bye. And it is said that, you can watch people swim and everything. And it said that a 13-year-old, I want to say 13-year-old, drowned. Like, people watched her drown. weird. Um, so the main thing that, like, the main ghost that haunts the Brookdale Lodge is little Sarah. And then it has more complaints in it as time goes on, and like it's just weird. Um, I'm trying to find it. Okay, so the Brook Room dining room was in 1920, and it has been known to host so many different events over the years. Um, People have bought in it and they've been trying to piece it back together, but they haven't been able to. Uh, there has been, the reports of the hauntings there. Somebody has, people have physically gotten hurt here at the lodge. I've heard little Sarah that died in the creek. Seen her apparition sitting by the creek where she was unalived as she had slipped in the creek and hit her head on the rock. With another being a child drowned in the pool. Um, it does have a lot of history to it, and everybody was talking, about the paranormal aspects of stuff. So, what is to say that when they're gangsters and all those people didn't do things during that time when they were staying at the lodge? We know about the most famous, little Sarah, the one that drowned in the pool. And what happened, like, on the land itself? I could not find anything about the land itself when I was doing my research. So it all just starts back when it was built, and then when it goes into the dining room, when the dining room was built around the creek because little Sarah had passed away there. But later on down the road, there was a bunch of gangsters and doing illegal gambling and all that other stuff there. So who's to say that something else did not happen at the lodge that no one knows about? Um, so there's so much that is like. So residents that lived behind the lodge itself were, complaining that trash was piling up, um, and then they couldn't, get the permits to finish building the lodge or renovating the lodge. Um, there was a chemical spill that killed some trout that was swimming through that area. Um, yeah, my train of thought has like yawn. So it's been one of those days. Really has. And I mean, I don't know if people have seen pictures of the Brookdale, but this is the creek right here that little Sarah is said to died in. Let me see if I can find a picture of the. Well, there's a better picture of the creek right there. I don't know if there's a picture in my book of the. It didn't later turn into a camp. So I did not look into it like I usually do. I mean, there's another picture of the creek. It's well known. This creek that runs down the middle of the Brookdale Lodge is well known because that's the most famous um thing. And it was, of course, Ripley's Believe It or Not. And that's when it blew up in fame and all this ghost stories happened. It has really changed hands over the years and so many different things. Like in the book, it gives a timeline, early 1800s. Land once occupied by the Indians. So there was Indians on this land. So who's to say that these Indians didn't curse the land because they were pushed off the land? What happened on the lands that we don't know about, that no one knows about? Then there was a cemetery built on the property. So again, gangsters and all kinds of people back in the day that would rob and everything like that. Illegal things. Who's to say that people weren't illegally or unalived in the cemetery and hidden in the cemetery? And then, from the 1870s to 1893, the land was summer cottage owned by the Grover family. And then in 1895, Judge H. Logan purchased the Brookdale Lodge next to Grover. And then 97, they joined together and began creating the camping grounds. And then 1901, the camp was renamed Logan Camp. 1902, Logan buys Grover's share of property. 1903, Summer Cottage was transformed into the Minnehaha Hotel. And then in 08, the hotel was renamed to Brookdale Hotel. So that's probably really upsetting to the spirits. I mean, there's a whole lot of timelines, and they had a tennis court, a swimming pool, a tea garden, 48 rooms, 3 suites, 9 cabins, 64 condominiums, several retail stores, offices, conference rooms, a bar, dance hall, and a wishing well for crippled children who were added. And then in 1925, it had its first fire, which burned down 20% of the book room. And then in the late 1920s, it was used as several gangsters' hideouts. So who was to say that these gangsters didn't harm somebody there and unalive them? And then F.K. Camp's mother passes away at the lodge. And then again, somebody else buys it in 1946. And then in 1952, someone buys it again. 1950s, it becomes more famous. And then it also was a wedding chapel. And then it was in Strange as It Seems comic. Electrician Frank Danner, 68, has heart attack and dies at the lodge while on the job. Another fire damages buildings. And then in 1956, it was remodeled into the Hansel and Gretel theme. 57, water wheel is made to provide power. The Chapel begins Sunday sermons. 59. The hotel's electrician, 53-year-old Louis W. Huntington, was found dead due to a stroke in his cabin on the property, and it was sold again in 1960. And then they had an indoor swimming pool and mermaid room built. The coffee shop was added in 61. Nicholas Garcia, and in 1965 it was sold once again. Developer buys a lot. Developer Archie Klein buys a lodge in 66, sorry. And then in 68 it's sold again. And then in 1972 the teen girl drowns in the pool. And then it is said that, well, not said, but the manager collapses from a heart attack in the parking lot and passes away. 76, it's bought out again. 80, it's bought out again. And then in 1982, the wedding chapel burns down. 1980, another again in 1982, there's a flood and it damages the lodge. Thank you. Yep. She brought me some fresh, hot, fresh out of the oven muffins. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta try them. She wants me to try the muffins, and I will finish the timeline. Did you let them sit for a minute?
Yep, for 5 minutes.
Ooh, they're nice and fluffy.
I set a timer on my phone.
Ooh, look at that, guys. Look at that. Blueberry muffins, one of my favorite things in the world. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So good. She's all excited now. And then in 1990, the Gilbert buy the property. And in the 91, they tried to do an exorcism on the lodge, and it failed. And then in 2003, it was bought again, but renamed the Brickdale Inn and Spa. 2005, fire burns 2-story apartment attached to the lodge. And then 2007, 2 people were stabbed to death. 2009, the same 2-story apartment gets destroyed by another fire. 2011, gets red tagged and closes down. 2013, it's up for sale. 2015, it is purchased again for $2.5 million in remodels. 2017, reopens the lodge. And there is a map, I don't know if you can see it all, of the Brookdale Lodge. So that's just the timeline of everything that happened. So there's been a lot of tragedy that happened on the lodge's land. And I think it's all because the Indians were forced out of the land. So, but who knows? Who's to say what happened? But most of the time, when you see something like that and Indians were involved, it's because they were forced out of their land and the Indians had cursed the land. So, unfortunate things happen all the time at these locations. Hi, Abby. Hi, Kat. I did the Lizzie Borden house and gave you a huge shout out. So, but yeah. Again, guys, Kat here has done an amazing job with the. You're welcome, honey. With the Lizzie Borden house, I gave her a book and asked her to read it for me because it's huge. Like, I will show you guys again. It is huge. and I've seen some of the books that she reads, so I knew this was like light reading to her. And I told her, I was like, I don't care if you skim through it or whatever. I just like, it was like, it just, she goes, give me a list of what you want. So I came up with a list, and she nailed it like right on the head with what I needed. So we just got done with the Brookdale Lodge, and my little one Maya brought me freshly baked blueberry muffins.
Good mini.
And they're really good.
They are.
Mm-hmm. They're nice and warm, and they're really they're really fluffy. And they're moist. And like the edge of them has that little bit of a crisp to them. Not too crispy, but that small crisp to them. Mm-hmm.
If you ever want blueberry, if you ever want blueberry muffins, let me know.
Mm. Why would I think?
What?
I wasn't thinking about it that way, but okay.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Too perfect.
Anyway, next month, do not miss coming and seeing me and Peppy down at the Hannah House, which is in Indianapolis, on August 9th. We will be down there all day long. And then we have one in September. We have 2 events in October back to back. And we have one in November and December.
What is the September
So-
one?
Huh?
September 1. The mine's 11.
September 20th. And I'm
9 days.
excited and happy to announce that we only have 4 spots left
9 days after
for
my
Perry
birthday.
Unity before we're completely full. I am super stoked and excited. Now, that's not saying that one of our vendors that are already signed up, when they pay or whatever, that they
It's my
need more
birthday.
than 1 spot.
It was my birthday, 9/11.
So I am beyond stoked. I cannot wait. Me and the committee just got together. As you guys know, here on this platform, Mr. Jeremy York, he's on the committee. Me and him just got with the rest of our committee members and talked about some things and everything. And I'm super excited to get the event rolling. And I even shared the surprise with them that I wasn't supposed to share with anybody until the day of. But it's okay. So if you want to know what the surprise is, you're going to have to come and check it out, which is October 25th at the Miami County Fairgrounds. So, but I'm going to end the show early tonight so I can just relax and everything. And then enjoy my muffins. I got to be up super early because my dad needs some help with something, and a friend of his needs to ride to work, so, and she gets got to be at work whenever I can. Yeah, I got the next 2 days off, so I'm super excited about that. So tomorrow I'm gonna be like straightening up my house and cleaning it up, and then Monday I get to watch the neighborhood kids, which not a problem. I enjoy it. It gives my kids something to do and helps everybody out. So, I mean, guys, living in where I live at now, I cannot tell you the amount of help that I have had from my neighbors. Like Cat here on TT. Even though we're not allowed to go to Walmart together during a thunderstorm,
They still do it.
because every time we go to the Walmart together and there's a thunderstorm, or we go to Walmart and we can go in, nothing happening. We come to walk out and it's like a downpour outside,
Yeah.
and there is tornado warnings going off.
Do not say that.
So, no more going to Walmart with Kat. But she's an amazing neighbor. I love her to death. She has been so helpful, and like all the neighborhood kids love her.
Yeah.
So, and then my neighbor that lives in front of me, he's an elderly guy.
beside you, actually.
Yeah, he is. It is fun. I was just there not yesterday, the day before yesterday. But 2 houses down, his kids come and play with my kids, and he was really shocked that all of them were getting together. Like, I swear, if it's not too hot outside and it's nice enough, you want to know where all the neighborhood kids are? Come to my house. You'll find them all.
Yep.
If they're not outside, they're inside. But, so yeah. That was tonight's show. Like I said, the Brookdale Lodge and the Lizzie Borden House. So I really, really enjoyed this tonight's show and everything. And then next week, while we're on that topic of next week, what should we do? What location should I do next week? Somebody give me some ideas.
Have you done the jail yet?
Hmm?
The jail?
Hmm?
I miss that place. Plus, you went to the place where Adam was buried at without me.
We can go there when we go see Andy next.
Yay! Yay! What's that? I can make my voice high or low. And I can change my voice sometimes. Like effects. I can do many. What do you guys think? What's my mom talk about next, guys?
The Hell House. Which one are you talking about?
The ornament.
Hmm?
It's my ornament. The jack one. That you gave me.
The one that Zach Bagans took down?
I don't know the other places. Sadly.
Oh, that one. That one's in Gary, Indiana, which is no longer standing. But Zach Bagans has the steps and a bucket of the dirt in his museum. And that one, there's not a lot known about the neighborhood or the house itself, so it would be almost next to impossible trying to find information on it. Because nobody from that house will talk about what happened while they were living there. Yeah, we can do that one. Yep, we can do that one.
I love that. I love that.
I need one more. One more location.
I don't know. Who is that one that I love? I love this one. I love this one. This one music. My favorite one, all of them, is me and Hawa. This one has been my favorite out of all of them. This one.
I already did that one. That's the Phelps Mansion. The very first haunting in Connecticut.
No, my name is one before. I love this one.
That one I would do, but there's a lot of bad things about it right now. So
That's my make some Kool-Aid. Okay, I'll make it.
and one of my people, like one of my idols, is upset about what's going on with that house. So I will.
Can I have this, Mama? Thanks.
So anyway, we're trying to figure out locations for next week. We have in Mannyville. I can never pronounce it right. But I need one more location. When in doubt, just pull out my composition notebook. What about the Lolo Ree house? I don't do cemeteries, though. That's a problem. Because if you think about it, almost every cemetery is haunted. The Lolo Ree house. Or the transit. Where'd it go? Well, there's my second look. Whoa! Alright, we got our 2 locations for next week. We're doing the Amityville Horror and the Lolo Ree house. If I'm even pronouncing them right, those I swear there. Some of these names for these houses and locations are like brutal to try to. Or I will have to do Loretta Lynn's ranch soon. I think that would be a good one to do. Loretta Lynn. Coal miner's daughter. So
Yes. Me.
So we're just hanging out for the last couple minutes here. My dog's watching me eat my blueberry muffin. And it was the premix stuff, which is really good, don't get me wrong. They're really delicious, but they could have added more blueberries.
It's a top one. But mine, the one
But I mean, guys, look how soft and fluffy that is. It's delicious. I have to say, Joe, he's the one that let me borrow his muffin pan. And believe it or not, my kids are the ones that made these.
Wait, tell them who.
Jaden and Maya baked these muffins. And they did a phenomenal job. Why is she barking?
But no, I don't think that was Tank.
Oh.
That was Tank.
Oh. But alright, guys, I'm going to hop off here for the night. It's been about half an hour, just 5 minutes left, but that's okay. I'm going to go relax. And then I'm going to go to bed. Because I'm going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, luckily I have tomorrow off.
Yo, I can sleep
Because
in
after I get done helping my dad out at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm coming home and going back to bed.
I can sleep in.
So don't forget, next month, August 9th, me and Peppy will be down at the Hannah House down in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is right off of Madison Avenue, 465, which is right up the road from the Hannah House. And I will see you guys all next week. Love you.